Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dylan James. I'm a mindset coach that loves to specifically focus on relationships. However, I'm not just limited to helping you in relationships. If this is your first time here on my channel, then welcome. As you can tell, my background is different. I am still in the process of moving. So much has been changing in my life, which I'm going to be updating you guys on later because there's a lot of really amazing things that have manifested for both Adam and I that have changed some things around. But I'm not going to spend this video explaining that. And I do want to say I used to film all of my content like how I'm doing it right now, which is this light that is in my face, but it's so blaring. So I'm getting used to having this light on my face again. So if you see me kind of squinting, it's because it's really, really bright. Okay. So in today's video, I want to talk about really stepping into being a conscious creator and stepping out of questioning and more into empowering yourself into deciding what is going to occur in your life and how things are going to unfold and how that all relates to your stability, your confidence, your self-esteem, your ability to live in the end or decide, right? Make the decision as to really what's going to happen for your life. Okay. So I'm going to just explain very quickly what I'm going to talk about in this video, and then we'll dive straight into it. This may be a little bit of a longer video, so get comfortable because we're going to be going over quite a few topics and how they all connect and relate to each other. Okay, so just so you have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be going over deciding versus questioning. What does deciding even mean? How to commit to that question, how to ground yourself throughout the day, how affirmations and stability go hand in hand. So in my content, I've been telling you guys, if you're not able to send out one very, very clear signal to your reality, meaning I'm going to get this, whatever it is that I want to experience, whether it's the relationship or the career or whatever, the opportunities, you want to be able to send out one very, very clear signal that yes, this is done. It's inevitable. It's happening. I'm receiving it now. And if you're not able to send out that very, very clear signal, meaning you have resistance, you're doubting, you're fearing, you're throughout the day having intrusive thoughts, you're wondering about third parties or all these circumstances, then you're going to want to kind of drop the topic for a little bit until you can get to this very stable knowing place. I want to talk about how to persist with affirmations when you're in that state. Because it's not that you don't want to affirm for your desire, it's more how you're doing it, right? So if we're in a really lacking, needing, worried state of being, fearful, our mind is going back and forth between I'm going to get it, I'm not going to get it, I'm going to get it, I'm not going to get it. They did this, they did that. There's this person, there's this threat, blah, 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 blah. We want to silence that chatter so that we can decide what we're creating, live in that decision, and continually send that awareness out into our reality, which draws it in as our experience and also allows for us to maintain it. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about affirmations and how stability go hand in hand, when to use those affirmations, okay, for the specific thing that you're creating in your life. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is seeing everything from the end. So as things are manifesting into your reality, how to stay aligned to what you're creating and how that couples with no urgency, okay? And the last thing I'm going to talk about is how people show up for you, which is kind of the topic of everybody is you pushed out. A lot of people get confused with that topic. I've said it in previous content. I know at least like a week and a half ago, I was saying, to me, everybody is you pushed out means if you in your mind entertain problems, if you have negative assumptions about this person in your reality, if you're not able to hold a very clear vision, you're going to see that materialize as your experience. So a lot of what this being conscious and consciously creating your reality is all about is being aware on a moment-to-moment basis what you are allowing into your mind and into your awareness, okay? How people show up for you could be completely different for somebody else. And you guys have all seen this in your reality before, where like you'll have a group of friends and they all think this one person, I'm just going to give a random example here. They all think this one person is really rude, but for you, that person's the sweetest person ever, right? So what makes those differences and how people interact and show up in our reality for us? It's all the beliefs you hold about yourself. This is why at the beginning of my content, I say, you're showing the world how to treat you based on what you believe and feel about yourself at a core subconscious foundational level. So if you are very inviting, very loving, you have very positive expectations and assumptions, you're going to draw that version of the people in your reality out. It's going to be reflected back to you. So we're going to go over how people show up for you, how to shift how people are showing up in your reality. I have a lot of experience with this, and it all starts with you changing how you're identifying them in your mind, believing in this version of them before it shows up. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. All right, so let's get into the first topic, which is deciding versus questioning. I see, as a coach, right, it's my job to help give you guys guidance. The one thing that I try to really be aware of, though, is not forming dependency. Okay, I really want you guys to listen to this content. We're like a little team here. Okay, so I'm a coach. I'm going to be telling you, okay, put your focus here, do this, but I can't physically produce the results for you. You have to take this information in and apply it and decide that you can apply it, that you can do this, that you can get what you want. That is a huge component to conscious creating. A lot of people will come online, and I get it, you guys, when you're in pressing circumstances or undesirable circumstances, there's a lot of urgency, there's not a lot of stability, there's a lot of questioning. That's why I'm talking about in this video how to step into deciding, how to use affirmations when you're stable, and how to stay in the end state with no urgency, because these are really core foundational principles that you have to take ownership and really take your life by the reins and decide that you're going to do this fully. Okay, so I'm going to break that down for you. What does deciding versus questioning mean? Okay, so this is your one life, right? And you can have whatever you want in this life, really. Everything is possible. Everything is constantly changing. But in order, in my opinion, for you to really get what you want, you have to believe in this thing more than anybody or anything else in your reality. You never, not for 1 second, never allow what is showing up in your physical reality to bully you into thinking that you're not going to get what you want. And this is something that, I've really been kind of talking to Adam about too, is especially like when you're in competitive environments, okay? And relationships feel like a competitive environment. So I'm not going to lie about that, right? When we're in a relationship, especially in this day and age, you can perceive so many things to be a threat, okay? When it comes to deciding, you need to decide what it is that you want and cut out everything, everybody's opinions, all the doubts, all the fears, all the what ifs, okay? Questioning, okay? Now, what's going to help you do this is getting really clear on what you're deciding to do. So if you have a relationship that you want to manifest, let's say there's an ex that you want to get back with, or it's just a completely brand new person. It doesn't really matter. It's the same process that applies to everything, okay? You want to decide what is it exactly that you're creating, okay? So I'm creating a stable, happy, harmonious, healthy relationship. What does that actually look like to you? Because I think when people say, yeah, I want to be in a relationship, they have this idea of what a relationship is. But when it comes down to what that actually means, there's a little bit of discord there. So you'll see people that really want their person obsessed with them, really, really needing them, really, really feeding for them. And the reason why that's not, okay, it's not bad, but when we think about healthy, stable, secure relationship where it's equal parts, okay, you're not going to really want that unhealthy obsession codependency there. So when you're making this decision, you really want to ask yourself, why do I want these certain things? If you really, really want somebody to be obsessed with you, needing you, feeding for you, that to me tells me that you at some level are feeling that way about your person. Okay, so you're really, really needing them. You're really, really kind of obsessed with them, and you're really, really attached to them. So you're wanting to get that reflected back to you. You want to take a step back, if that's where you are, and ask yourself, what do I actually want? Okay, I want a healthy, happy, harmonious, equally balanced relationship, okay? Once you decide what that is, now you're going to cut out everything that is not that, okay? And you have to commit to that decision. So this is a huge thing with conscious creating, is you make a decision and you commit to that decision. You're not going to go back on that decision. You're not going to flip-flop on that decision. Do I want it? Do I not want it? Do I want it? Do I not want it? Do I believe? Do I not believe? Okay. If you can make a decision that I am going to get a healthy, happy, harmonious, stable relationship with this person. Healthy, happy, harmonious looks like no urgency, very stable, very secure, very knowing, trusting, right? If that's what I'm going to create, then I'm committing to that decision no matter what shows up in my reality. If you can actually make that commitment, you're going to save yourself a lot of the internal struggle that most people have, which is doubting, fearful, not believing in themselves, okay, not believing in their ability to create this relationship. The ability, like deciding to do something, deciding that my life is going in this direction, I'm creating this thing, grounds you in such a profound way because you're no longer, you've cut out that dissonance within yourself. Okay. It's a very personal decision that you're making with yourself. And this is another thing that goes into creating that stable, secure relationship is if you're not willing to be committed to the decisions that you're making, how are you going to manifest somebody being committed to you? It's a reflection. Okay. And so what a lot of people are doing is they're thinking, yeah, I really, really want this thing. But then they're in this limbo state of, I believe I can have it. I don't believe I can have it. I think it can happen. I don't think it can happen. And you're not confident with your decision. You're not staying committed to your decision. Therefore, you're not getting commitment and the seriousness being reflected back to you in your reality. Make a decision, stick with the decision. Don't go back on it. Okay. This is your life. And if something is really, really important to you, fuck the time. It doesn't matter. Okay. Fuck all the opposition, what anybody has to say or think or doubts or tells you what you can or cannot do. Make a personal decision and commit to that decision, period. Okay. Now, when you make this decision, there's a grounding question that I like to use in my reality that keeps me aware. And I'm going to explain why this question helps, especially in the moment when it comes to being conscious and choosing how you're going to respond, which goes into that. You're going to see all the points that I talk about in this video connect with one another. Okay. So this is going to also relate to seeing from the end, living from the end, and having no urgency. So once you make this very clear decision and you no longer flip-flop on yourself and you're committed to this decision, regardless of what's going on in front of you, you are fucking committed to this decision. You're going to get what you want. Okay. The grounding question is, in a moment-to-moment basis, is what I'm doing right now, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, how I'm spending my time moving me towards what I want to create, or am I dwelling on the past, thinking about all the doubts, thinking about all the what ifs, feeling victimized by the things that are going on in my reality? If what I'm doing right now is not moving me towards my solution, and if your solution, your desire is a healthy, happy, harmonious, stable, secure relationship, that means every day you're waking up and you're choosing to be healthy, happy, harmonious, stable, and secure within yourself. If what you're doing in a moment-to-moment basis is not healthy, happy, secure, harmonious, and trusting within yourself, you need to decide to not do that thing and pick something else that builds your self-esteem, builds your confidence, and helps you relax into the knowing that you're going to get what you want. Okay. Now, coupling this with the belief tracks at nighttime. So how your behaviors manifest in your reality is a manifestation of whatever the beliefs are that you hold about yourself. That is why those nighttime affirmation tracks are so useful. And I really wish, if I'm going to be completely candid and upfront here, I really wish I knew about affirmations, like sleeping with affirmations on years ago, because I've been doing development work on myself for at least a decade. Okay. And I've woken up really early in the morning and wrote gratitude lists and done all the vision boards and done the internal work, and nothing has transformed my mindset quicker than doing the belief affirmation tracks. It's a very effortless way of keeping yourself aligned each day. How you're showing up on a moment-to-moment basis, the behaviors that you're engaging with, how you are interpreting your reality, how you're responding to your reality has everything to do with your self-concept and what you believe about yourself. So if you're sleeping with beliefs on at nighttime, like I'm stable, I'm secure, I'm trusting, I'm disciplined, I'm always getting what I want, I'm always believing in myself, I'm always waking up ready, I am the answers, the ideas and inspiration is always coming to me. I'm trusting my consciousness. I'm trusting my body. I'm trusting myself to put myself at the right place at the right time. I always know what to say, when to say, and how to say it. I'm always creating the solution. I am the solution. When you are inundating your subconscious mind with those beliefs, what should be happening is when you wake up in the morning, you assume that version of yourself. Okay, now we're going to couple that with the grounding question, because if you're waking up each day doing the same things over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result, you're going to drive yourself crazy. There has to be a change in how you're showing up. Now, this also attracts new opportunities into your reality. You do have the ability to literally manifest things to you guys. I know I say this in every video, but I think some people are listening to this content and they're like, oh yeah, manifestation, that's pretty cool. I think I believe in it. But then you really don't believe in it, because once you manifest something, you're like, oh my God, it actually happened. Yes, it actually fucking happened, because it works. And if you know that to begin with, then when things manifest, you're not going to be thrown off by them manifesting and regressing back into, oh my gosh, this is so amazing that this actually happened. The key here is when you manifest things, you normalize getting what you want, which allows for you to keep it consistent in your reality. I'm laughing because I get it. But it's funny to me because people will spend so much time listening to this content and studying it and understanding it. But then when they actually manifest something, they're surprised that it worked. And then they're holding in their awareness the old reality or the old way this person showed up. So they manifest and then they just go back. And it's like, you guys have to really fully live in the end result of what you're creating forever. You don't go back to, oh my gosh, I knew you this way. It's so awesome that you're showing up this way. No, you're going to live in this end result forever. Okay, you're changing yourself, which means you're going to need to really stay in that change. So this grounding question, okay, when you sleep with the beliefs on, the idea is that's going to start changing how you're showing up when you wake up. And you guys are experiencing this. So a lot of you guys are experiencing you're getting a little bit more thirsty. You're not as hungry. You're more motivated during the day. You're getting more things done in your reality. You're feeling more energized, things like that, right? So your behaviors and how you're showing up are starting to change because you're changing your beliefs, how you're responding to your reality. You're not getting triggered as easily anymore by the things that are going on because you're changing in your self-concept. Now, if you can take that and couple that with a really good awareness of your reality on a moment to moment to moment basis and deliberately choose to consciously be that version of yourself, you're going to materialize results a lot more quickly, a lot more sustainably, and it's going to help you in the long term too. So that grounding question of, is what I'm doing right now moving me towards my solution, or am I dwelling on things and thinking about the past and thinking about all the what ifs and how I'm not good enough and how I'm doubting myself and they said this and they did that and that person told me over there that I was never going to be good enough and that person told me that he's a fuck boy or she is just always cheating on blah, 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 blah. Doesn't fucking matter, okay? Ignore everybody and decide what you're creating. So again, when you're asking yourself that grounding question, when you are being very aware of yourself and deciding how you're going to show up before things manifest, okay, when you're kind of in that transition period of creating a new self-concept, if you get really diligent with this, what happens is you're training yourself to be more conscious in the moment. Now, I said in a previous video, manifestation and mindset specifically, the power and the freedom in it is choosing how you want to respond to things, choosing how you want to view things, how you want to value things, what kind of story you want to create in your mind, because a conversation can unfold in a million different ways, right? And so somebody comes up to you, they say something to you, you interpret it, you filter it through your beliefs, you form your perception, you kind of project what they're meaning by what they're saying, and then you respond to what they're saying based on the projection that you have created in your mind, right? And so how are you creating that contextualization of your reality? It's through your beliefs. So you could come up to me and be a kind of crappy person, but if I'm like, nope, everybody loves me, everybody always embraces me, I'm always accepted and loved everywhere that I go, I'm always confident, then no matter what you're saying, I'm going to always interpret you as really loving me, being super kind to me, and everything working. So I'm always going to respond to you that way, which creates that dichotomy between you and me. I'm the conscious creator of my reality. I don't care how you're showing up. Everything is going to respond to me based on what I believe and feel about myself, right? And that's where you can get these different versions of people. And it's powerful, right? So what I was saying is the power in manifesting is choosing how you want to respond to things. So when you are shifting your self-concept and you're being aware of yourself on a moment-to-moment basis and you're really disciplining yourself, like, nope, fuck this shit. I'm not crying anymore today. I'm not thinking these negative thoughts anymore. I'm not going to dwell in the past. I'm going to go do something else in a knowing, stable way, knowing I'm going to get what I want, which I'm going to talk about the difference between letting go and giving up and shifting your awareness because you know you're going to get what you want, okay, in a second after the grounded question. I'm telling you guys, this is going to be a really loaded video. So you may want to like bust out the notes and take a few notes here, okay? That grounding question, okay? How that plays out for you in the long term is if you're doing that in a moment-to-moment basis, then when things manifest, okay, when you're in the middle of things manifesting and it's going smoothly, because you've been asking yourself this grounding question, when things show up, there's going to be a delayed reaction in your awareness. This is also going to occur because you've been shifting your beliefs. So I've said this in the past, in past content, when things show up in your reality and you've shifted your self-concept, you could see old patterns coming towards you, but because you have been training yourself to practice relaxation with the breath work, you've been changing your beliefs, you're not going to get automatically triggered and respond and recreate the same things. Now, couple this with that grounding question. When things show up, instead of immediately making negative assumptions or reacting negatively and recreating, you're going to have this, the only way I can describe it is like a delayed feedback in your mind, where you'll see something show up, it doesn't get emotional reaction out of you. You can look at it and say, how do I want to respond to this? And what kind of outcome do I want to create? In that awareness, you're going to be able to reorient yourself and show up in a way that always moves you towards the solution. If you can start to train yourself with that grounding question throughout the day, is what I'm doing moving me towards my solution or not? Then in the moment when things manifest, you're going to have the ability to do that as well. So how they're showing up. If I respond to this way, is that going to move me towards my desired result, or is that going to keep me where I don't want to be? Wow, okay, that's not. So I'm going to choose to respond to it this way and make positive assumptions and proceed forward, which is going to keep moving you in that direction. Okay. So again, the power in mindset manifestation is being able to decide, be conscious, decide what you are creating. Okay. The whole questioning thing needs to go out the window. Stop questioning yourself. Stop doubting yourself. Stop undermining yourself. Stop thinking you're not good enough. Stop letting outside opinions tell you that you're never going to get what you want. You have to believe in yourself more than anybody. And you guys, like, we're a team here. So really what I'm trying to do is train you to go out into the world and be the most successful version of yourself. And if you allow outside opinions and your physical reality to make you feel disempowered to where you're questioning everything, you're not being a conscious creator. Okay. I want to make that really clear. You need to decide what you want and stick with that decision. Okay. Now, I do want to talk about one other thing before I move on to the second topic. That was just the first topic, and we're only 22 minutes into this video, you guys. So this is going to be a long video. There's a huge difference, okay, when I say, because my next topic is affirmations and stability. Okay. I've been saying in my content, if you're not feeling confident with a particular topic, okay, I'm going to go from the scope of a specific person. Let's say you have a negative history with someone, or you have negative relationship patterns in your life. Maybe you don't have a specific person, but you want to get in a relationship, but you're afraid that the same shit is going to happen again, okay? If in your awareness, every day you're waking up and your mind is going back and forth, doubting yourself, going over past events, going over fights, going over all the what ifs and how things could go wrong, but at the same time, you're wanting to create this thing, you kind of have this bipolar like effect of like really believing in yourself and then really focusing on all these negative things, okay? And you're like kind of going back and forth through your consciousness between these two states, okay? What I've said in my content is if that is what is going on, then drop the topic for a little bit, deliberately choose not to think about it until you can come back to it with a very, very clear signal in your mind, awareness, confidence as to what you're creating, knowing it, okay? So when we manifest things, we know it's going to happen. You guys are doing this all the time. So what I'm talking about here on my channel is replicating a natural process. So you do this with so many things. There's so many things in your life where you think you feel something and you're like, wow, yeah, I know this is totally going to happen. And then it happens, right? And it's not like you're predicting the future or that's just a coincidence. You're just manifesting it. So when we want to do this deliberately, we have to see it needs to be that same knowing, confidence, no contradiction in your awareness as to this thing that you're creating. So when I tell you guys to take a break from it, the awareness that you want to have when you're doing that is not, I'm going to let this go because I can't get what I want and this is too difficult. Okay. This is about creating a plan of action that's going to lead you to success. So I'm going to use a silly example here, but like if I take a class and I'm so worried about how I'm going to fail the class, it's never going to occur to me to sit down and study because I know studying is going to get me that grade too, right? So It's about reorienting yourself and saying, well, the approach that I'm taking right now is not working. So I'm having all these contradicting thoughts and I'm having all these doubts and fears and blah, 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 blah. And I don't have a clear signal as to what I'm creating. I'm not confident. So I'm going to drop the importance on this for a little bit. I'm going to lessen the attachment here, lessen the attachment to the negative story, lessen the attachment to all the story, like the what ifs in my mind, until I can come back to this feeling really, really confident. So even when you're doing this, if you notice you have resistance, you want to be kind of dropping it from your awareness, but knowing you're still going to get what you want. I want to make that really clear, because if you're dropping it and you're saying, I can't get what I want, it's too hard for me, I just have to let this go, I can't do it, you're going to create more dissonance in your reality. It's just unnecessary. Okay. So you want to drop it in a way where it's like, okay, I'm going to drop this because I know if I take a little bit of time to generally build my confidence, generally build my stability in my reality, get a really good routine going for myself and feel really good within myself again, I can come back to this topic and apply this really stable, secure feeling within myself to this topic. Now let's talk about affirmations. Okay. I give you guys general beliefs on my channel. And when you do coaching with me, I address your general belief systems: worthiness, deserving, feeling good enough, trusting your body, trusting your mind, creating the answer, being the solution, because these are general beliefs that you need to have in alignment. It is not the specific circumstances that you're in that are creating the problem. The specific circumstances that you're in are a symptom or a manifestation of whatever you believe about yourself at a core foundational level. So let's go back to that idea of how people show up for you is contingent on what you believe and feel about yourself. So if Bob is showing up in my reality, treating me rudely and disrespectfully, but Bob is really nice to everybody else, it is not because I have a limiting belief about Bob, okay? It's not Bob or Bill or whoever. It's whatever I believe and feel about myself. So do I actually feel like I'm worthy and deserving of respect, genuinely deserving of respect or kindness or love? Do I feel like I'm worthy and allowing myself to receive love? Do I feel confident in my state of being, in my body at all times? Do I feel stable and secure? Am I allowing myself to receive? Those are the beliefs about yourself that play out in the relationships that you have with people. So it's not that you need to go in and change a specific belief with a specific person. It's your self-concept and also what you are allowing yourself to receive. So I want to talk about this from a body language standpoint. Okay. And this is where you have to be really honest with yourself, because especially if you've had really negative experiences in relationships where you have people that didn't validate you, or you didn't feel validated, you didn't feel seen, you didn't feel heard, you didn't feel cared for, you felt like you had to do X, Y, and Z to be worthy of love. You had to give. You're over giving because you felt like you at a core level just weren't good enough as you are. So you're doing a lot to maintain the relationship. Okay. Those beliefs. So I'm going to go, I've talked about this in previous content, the beliefs: I'm not feeling validated, seen, or heard. Okay. Let's just go from those beliefs in your subconscious mind. Okay. What I want you guys to see too, your beliefs get triggered in specific circumstances, right? So you may have a really good self-concept with work, but in relationships, you're not having that great of a self-concept, okay? So in relationships, I always feel stable, secured, seen, heard, and validated. Our brains, the way that they shift, like we're actually shifting our self-concept all the time. And so I'm trying to use examples for you guys to see this. So when you look at like a work environment, they really want you to like have a desk and take everything off the desk and create a workflow so that when you go into your workspace, your mind automatically goes into the work mode and you're able to sit down and get a lot of work done. Okay. So our mind is constantly responding to the environment that we're put in, and we're instantly assuming versions of ourselves that match that environment. This is why if you're working from home and you're used to working at an office, you may find that working at an office, you're getting a lot more work done. When you're at home, you're a little bit more relaxed and it's a little bit harder to get work done, because the way your brain is associating itself in your reality, you're not in that version of yourself that's highly proficient. That's a limitation. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay. You can program yourself out of those beliefs. But the point that I'm trying to make here is when you have these beliefs, like in relationships, I'm not feeling seen, heard, or validated. Okay. When you interact with your person, this is where your internal dialogue is so important. Okay. And the mirrored effect. Okay. So I may be saying to you, yeah, it's really, really nice to talk to you. Thank you for being here. But the way that I'm saying it, the tones in my voice, my body language, how I'm showing up, everything else that I am doing is communicating. You're not seeing me. You're not hearing me. You're not validating me. Okay. You guys have to be really aware of your internal dialogue, okay? Because that's going to be what actually, your beliefs are going to be what actually gets reflected back to you. Whether you're saying, like, however you're showing up, you may not be fully aware of how you're showing up, but how people are seeing and perceiving you is always going to be an actual reflection of what you believe and feel about yourself at a core foundational level. So if you have these limiting beliefs in a relationship, then when you get around your person, this is subconsciously getting triggered. I'm not feeling seen, heard, and validated. So you're a little bit more closed off. You're not able to be fun or flirty. The way that you're interpreting what they're saying and how you're responding is going to unconsciously manifest a version of this person where they are not seeing you, hearing you, or validating you, because there's been so many things that have occurred over time that create this dichotomy. Okay, so you eventually just mold your relationship to reflect these beliefs. All right, so when we understand that's what's going on, and we gain a general sense of stability, and you get those general beliefs in alignment, you are preparing yourself for success. Okay, you're preparing yourself so that in the moment, when you do manifest what you want, you can consistently stay aligned to this version of yourself. So the number one thing that I say on my channel is stability. Your stability is number one. Again, couple this with deciding what you want. If you can decide what you want, know that you're going to receive it. It's inevitable. Couple that with stability and really, really healthy beliefs about yourself, you're going to be able to consistently manifest these things. All right. So the main thing that I wanted to say here, though, is when you're changing your self-concept, it should be more about beliefs that you hold about yourself in terms of a relationship, in terms of the career, in terms of money, not these, like, again, it's not Bill, Bob, or Jill, or Joe, or whatever that you have specific limiting beliefs with. It's you. There's nobody to change but you. Now, let's talk about specific affirmations. When you're stable, okay, so there's kind of two ways that people affirm what I see online. So when you actually have what you want, okay, so like I'm in this beautiful space, right? And as I'm walking around this space, I'm like, wow, this place is so beautiful. I really love that. This is where I'm staying right now. I'm so grateful for this space. It's really awesome to always have this space. And it's a very relaxed, passing affirmations about my current reality, right? So the thing when it comes to living in the end, before something shows up in your reality, is the specific affirmations that you're using. If you're actually stable, okay, when you're doing the affirmations, they're there as an enjoyment, not as a chore, not as getting you that outcome. It's like indulging and appreciating this thing in your reality and reinforcing that appreciation because you feel like it's a done deal. Okay. And their beliefs or their assumptions and affirmations, again, if we're thinking healthy, secure, stable relationship that is harmonious, you, in my opinion, you want to make sure that those affirmations that you're using are in alignment with that. So if you're actually stable, then you're going to be going about your day and you're going to be doing certain things. And then when you think of your person, again, you're going to be sending out one really clear signal. I'm going to get what I want. It's done. So if you do any sort of affirmations, it's like, yeah, I'm really grateful that they always honor me. They're always choosing me. They're always respecting me. They're always loving me. They're always committed to me. Everything is always working great with us. Those are the types of appreciative affirmations that you would have in your end state. So again, if you're coming from it like well, I guess you could also have affirmations like they can't live without me. They can't imagine life without me, right? Like that's true. When you're in that end state in your relationship, yeah, that's going to be an affirmation that you're having. The thing that I want to say with affirmations though, when you're stable is you're not going to feel obsessive or urgent about them or worried about them. They become more of a like fun, fantasizing appreciation experience that you do here and there when the thought comes, when this person comes to your mind, okay? When you're not stable, then you're thinking about this person all the time and you're trying to flip all your thoughts. So you have a lot more negative resistance about this person in your mind and you're trying to affirm through that negative resistance, okay? That's why I say you want to drop the topic for a little bit and generally build your confidence and your security and your stability in your reality to where you have balance in your life and you can engage in other aspects of your life kind of drop the awareness of this thing because you know you're going to get it. Okay. So that's the other thing here. When I tell you guys, drop the awareness of it, I'm not saying to give up on it or let it go because you're not going to get what you want. What I'm saying is when you're actually in the end state, you're in that confident knowing state, you're going to be able to not really think about it because you feel so confident in that knowing that it's going to happen. And then as you move through your day, when you do think about it, you're thinking about it from that end state. Okay. So when I'm manifesting specific things in my reality, I don't sleep with affirmations on for that specific thing. I just reinforce my confidence, my stability, my security within myself, my trust within myself, my self-esteem, feeling like I always know what to do, when to do, and how to do it. I'm always creating the solution. I reinforce my self-concept. And when I am awake and when it feels good to think about that thing, okay, if I'm like really aligned with it, meaning I'm not having contradicting thoughts, then I will affirm in from that end state. Everything is working, everything is stable and secure between me and this person. Everything is coming together. I feel really good with it. And I don't really do this for very long. It'll be very sporadic. So I just wanted to talk about that because, like I've said in my content, you don't want to be affirming all day long. You want to create a really nice structure for yourself in your day, stability in your day so that you can engage in other activities of your life. Be joyful because, again, that's what you would be doing in the end state, especially in a relationship. So if you're sitting here waiting for somebody every day, waiting for text messages, wondering what they're doing, you're not able to do or enjoy anything else in your reality, that's not really what you would be doing in your end state. When our relationships are going good, we're fucking happy and we're doing a lot of really cool things in our life. We're taking care of ourselves. We're feeling really good each day. We're usually very adventurous. Like, we're taking care of our body. We're taking care of our personal spaces. And so the first step is to create that environment for yourself, that stability within yourself. Drop the negative attachment to all the things, the what ifs, decide what you're creating. And then when you think about it from that end state. Why is this important as well too, okay? So when you're imprinting this into your mind, when you decide, the fastest way to manifest something is go straight to the end, okay? You're gonna know it. So if you can continually reinforce this knowing, then when this thing shows up, because you have been practicing this knowing within your state of being, you're gonna effortlessly assume that version of yourself that moves in that direction. So I'm gonna use some other examples here because you guys do this with other things all the time, and I try to use examples for you so that you can see that you've done this before and it doesn't have to be hard. So if you know, for instance, you're gonna get a job, okay? And internally you have prepared yourself. Yes, I got this job. I'm going to ace that interview. Everything is going great. It's totally a done deal. When you can go into an interview with that level of confidence and knowing, you see the interview effortlessly unfolds and you get the job, right? Because you're assuming that end state of your version, that version of yourself that totally has this, right? So when you're doing that in a relationship, then when they show up, because you have been practicing that confidence and that knowing and that stability and that certainty, in the moment when they show up, how you interpret it, how you filter it through your beliefs, how you choose to respond, because you've been practicing internally this knowing, you're going to respond in a way that reflects that knowing, which effortlessly moves it in that direction. Okay, so I just want to make that really clear here. That is what the affirmations are for. Now, if you're doing specific affirmations and you're feeling super distressed or you're doubting yourself and you're worried and you're just like in a state of disarray, then what happens is when this person shows up, you're still in a state of disarray. And so you're trying to interpret what they're saying and you're not sure what to do. You're questioning everything. And so you recreate the same patterns again. This is why I said the very first thing that I started with this video is when it comes to being a conscious creator, no more questioning. You're the leader of your reality. Leaders do not question themselves. They decide. They decide and they reinforce that decision with confidence. You do not have the time to question yourself anymore. If you're not certain with what you're getting, nobody is going to be certain with giving you what you want. So you have to really know and decide with full conviction, I'm going to get what I want and I'm confident about that. And then you couple that with these affirmations and living as that version of yourself, genuinely being that version of yourself, which again, going back to the grounding question, if I'm creating a healthy, happy, stable, secure relationship, what is that version of me? What am I doing right now? Is that actually what I would be doing if I was this version of myself? Sleeping with the beliefs on is going to help change your behaviors and help you effortlessly assume that version of yourself. Okay. Now let's move on to the next topic. Okay. I told you guys this was going to be a long video. We're only halfway through it, okay? But we'll see how fast these other two topics go because I've already pretty much touched on them mostly, okay? Living from the end and having no urgency, okay? All right, so I've been seeing some people when they're manifesting their relationship, okay, they're living in the end, like knowing I'm gonna get what I want, this relationship is going in that direction. But in the current moment, their person is not, you're not in a committed monogamous relationship and they're talking to other people. And so your mind automatically goes to, oh my God, there's a third party. They're talking to somebody else. What did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong, okay? I've said this in my previous content. I've had this experience multiple times, you guys, actually, okay? If you feel threatened by anything, it's going to be a threat in your reality, okay? So you have to really see yourself as the best option, as worthy, as good enough just as you are, and continually reinforce that no matter what is in front of you, okay? When you show up as that kind of like, it's kind of like embodying that like boss vibe or like bad bitch vibe of, I really know I'm the best here and I'm not worried about it, then in no point are you ever going to feel threatened by anything. The other thing too is, so in my relationship, I knew it was going in that direction, but there were moments at the beginning where we weren't in a committed relationship. So I didn't really give a fuck who he was talking to or what he was doing in his free time, because I couldn't really get mad or jealous because there wasn't that commitment there yet. So that's where with a lot of you, when you're saying, but I'm living in the end, but they're talking to other people, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. Your relationship is going to have this natural unfolding. You may be able to instantly manifest it where they're like, yep, I totally commit to you and I'm not talking to anybody else, and you get that straight up front, okay? That's totally possible. But what I see is generally more of like an organic unfolding, where as you live as this version of yourself where there is no urgency, there's no threats, there's no bother, like nothing in your awareness that this isn't going to happen, then you don't really care who they're talking to or what they're doing in their free time, because you're deciding and you're knowing which direction it's going in. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because if you have urgency in your awareness, I need this to happen, otherwise they're going to talk to somebody else and they're going to like somebody else. I need them to commit to me right away, otherwise it's not going to happen. You're going to create, because there is urgency, you're going to create dissonance. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, okay? It doesn't matter what your person says. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they say. Now, I'm not saying that you should not take their opinion or their feelings or what they're doing into consideration. What I'm talking about is, like, it's so funny. In my relationships, I've been in those circumstances where they're like, I don't actually really want to be with you. I want to be friends with benefits. But then they're hanging out with me every day. They're FaceTiming me every day. They're wanting to see me all weekend, right? And I'm like, oh, you just want to be friends with benefits? Really? You don't really seem like you want to be friends with benefits. And this is where a lot of you are getting confused and you're forgetting that you're a conscious creator, okay? If you're like, but they're doing all this stuff and they're saying this, look at the behaviors and reinforce yourself with the behaviors. Clearly you want to be with me, otherwise you wouldn't be calling me on your lunch break. Clearly you want to be with me, otherwise you wouldn't be spending your weekends with me. Clearly you want to be with me because you're talking to me all the time, okay? So forget what you're hearing and look at it and say, oh, okay, well, you're doing all these things here, so I know it's going in that direction. You're calling me and talking to me all the time, so I don't really care who else you're talking to, because clearly you're loyal and committed to me. Start affirming in, using how things are showing up in your reality physically to affirm in the assumptions that you're making as well too. Now, if you're not getting those types of behaviors or that movement in your reality, that's fine. Then go back to kind of the previous videos that I've talked about, where, or even in this video, decide what you're creating, stabilize yourself, allow it to unfold. Then as it's unfolding, no matter what they're saying, ground yourself in that knowing, okay? So again, the no urgency thing, if you're wanting to spend all your weekends with me and you're calling me at nighttime before you go to sleep and you're introducing me to family and friends, but you're telling me you don't want to be in a relationship, clearly you want to be in a relationship and it's going in that direction. So I don't need to ask you if we're going to be in a relationship. There's no urgency in my mind. I'm not feeling threatened by anything. I know it's going in that direction, okay? That's really, really important, because when you can take the sense of urgency out of it and you can reaffirm into yourself, even if they tell you, I don't think I want commitment, if you can look at it and decide, yes, you totally actually do, that's going to be your experience, okay? Stop allowing the external world to dictate what you're going to get. Look at it, decide, persist in not knowing, okay? Remove the urgency, because any sense of urgency within yourself is going to create dissonance in your reality. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was how people show up for you. So I've already talked about this too. How people show up for you is all predicated on the beliefs that you have about yourself, what you're feeling and believing about yourself, and the self-concept that you have in relation to that thing, okay? Now, I have seen it in my reality firsthand experience where when I stabilize myself and I feel really good and I'm not super attached to a person or a thing, and I change how I'm viewing them in my mind and what I'm thinking about them, I will see that person actually show up and say to me, word for word, verbatim, the change that I have made in my mind. And the changes that I've made were nothing that I had ever talked to that person about before, okay? So there is a huge element of, you're going to see as you change this, how people show up in your reality really effortlessly morphs to this new state, this new awareness of your reality. I say this though with caution, because people get really, really stuck on the whole idea of manifesting, and they doubt it so much that they're not able to apply it. So if you can't wrap your mind around the idea that if I change how I'm feeling and thinking on the inside, it's going to change somebody outside of me, stop trying to figure it out and just apply it so that you can get the circumstantial evidences of it working, because there's nothing better. Like, I can't sit here and keep on explaining things to you until you have that experience yourself, right? So as I was saying at the beginning of this video, I'm a coach, but what you create is all predicated on what you actually apply and do. So if you have a major block with being able to believe that you're able to do this, then stop questioning it. You're listening to all this content and just start applying it so that you can experience it yourself, okay? Once you see these changes in your reality, you're going to be able to really reinforce and trust this process, which is going to help you really stay in that end state and kind of ignore or not really give power or attention to the dissonance in your reality. So the last thing that I want to finish on is, you guys have to be fearless, okay? There's a lot in this world, and this is just me being like, we're going to take my channel away, all the people that are watching me right now, and all that. Like, I'm going to be a friend right now. We're going to take the coach label away too, okay? There's a lot of people in this world that give up, and there's a lot of perceived negativity. There's a lot, especially in the world right now, there's a lot of challenges going on, and you need to be very mindful of how you're using your time. To create what you want, you have to choose to be conscious and shift yourself in the moment if you notice your mind is going to a space that is not what you want to create. And I don't give a single fuck what anybody tells you what is or is not possible for you, okay? You have to fearlessly cut out all the negative opinions, all the doubts, all the fears, unapologetically believe in yourself, commit to the decisions that you're making, and continue to wake up each day, removing the sense of urgency, removing the victim mindset, removing the idea that, oh my gosh, this reality is so hard and there's so many things working against me, because that's with everybody, you guys. Like, there's even things in my reality. I've been doing this mindset work for a very long time, and sometimes I'm like, motherfucker, this reality sometimes really just fucking annoys the shit out of you, right? Like, I'm just being honest. And there's a lot of perceived challenges, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. So you need to be very aware of what you're letting into your mind and into your awareness. Now, that doesn't mean that you cut people out or you create a self-concept where you feel superior to other people because they're not doing what you're doing, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. You need to be conscious enough to decide what you're creating and then reinforce that throughout your day by being conscious. When I've made really huge self-concept shifts and changed a lot in my reality, I had to get very disciplined with even the music that I'm listening to, what I'm reading, what I'm coming in contact with, because all it takes is one little thing to trigger you and to kind of plant an idea in your mind that you start dwelling on. So when you create this change, if you can be really mindful of what you're letting into your awareness, and like I said, you can create a structure for your day that prioritizes your stability, and you can stop allowing that little voice in your mind to tell you you're not good enough, you're not going to get what you want. And then that's getting magnified by you feeling like other people are judging you or telling you that it's not possible for you. And then you hear the criticisms and you hear the feedback. I mean, it's just ridiculous how much shit can be coming at you at once. Okay. If we can cut all of that out and just decide, you know what? I'm going to get what I want, and I'm committed to this decision, and I'm going to be really mindful in every moment, and I'm going to believe in myself more than anything, more than I ever have before. And I'm going to commit to believing in myself in every single moment. This going forward, it's going to be a challenge. I'm going to be honest. There's even in my reality where things can feel a lot of pressure, and I have to decide to be conscious and remind myself, no, I'm creating my reality. I believe in myself. I can get what I want. I'm going to soothe myself right now. I'm going to go in a new direction, and I'm going to create this result. And I've done this so many times in my life that I feel confident with doing that, but I still have moments where I'm like, oh my God, like this is a lot, right? So with that being said, okay, don't let anything discourage you. Things can literally change at any moment. And in order to create that change, you have to fearlessly become it and cut everything out that does not reflect what you want to experience. Because there's a whole world out there that kind of wants to see you fail. And I don't want to say that as a negative assumption. I want to say the world wants to see us all succeed and everybody wants the best for us. And I really want to believe that. But there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of envy. There's a lot of people that don't necessarily have the best intentions, that have a hard time seeing other people succeed because they're not able to believe in themselves that way. Now, what I'm talking about here on my channel is becoming the change you seek to experience. So if you can have that awareness, first off, we're going to change that, right? Because we want to see the world as everybody wants the best for each other. Everybody wants to see each other succeed. Everybody wants to see each other happy and loving and thriving. That's where we want to be in our awareness, but we also don't want to be completely detached from reality to where we lose touch with it. So if you can have that awareness and know that even if people are giving me negative feedback, that is because with them, they don't believe in themselves or whatever's going on with them. I'm not going to give it any attention. I'm not going to feed into it because I know where my life is going. I'm deciding, I'm being conscious, I'm leading my life, and I'm not going to feed into that. You're going to cut out a lot of the distress that keeps you stuck. So be fearless with that. Don't let anything bring you down. Things are constantly changing. And what I'm talking about on my channel is how to create that change in the most logical, fastest, sustainable way possible. I've made a lot of mistakes in my reality, a lot. And I will take ownership for that. But through those mistakes, I've learned a lot. And everything that I teach is from experience where I've firsthand gotten success with applying what I teach. And then you guys see in the community tab, other people getting success with it too. Please read the book, Psycho-Cybernetics, Psychology of Self-Image and Self-Concept. This stuff actually works if you are willing, okay, to let go of everything that is not what you want to create. And genuinely believe that people can change and genuinely believe that you can get what you want. There's a lot of people that are trying to apply this and they're not believing that the person can actually change, or they're not actually believing that they can get what they want. So when it starts to manifest in their reality, they regress back to the old circumstances and recreating. You have to decide. Living in the end means, again, the fastest way to manifest something is to live in the end. So you're going to decide what is going to show up, and then you reinforce and maintain that with your knowing and having a really strong self-concept and being fearless. Okay? Alrighty. So that was pretty much an hour of me talking straight. I hope you got some good notes from this. Thank you for all the people that are here. Thank you for all the thumbs up, and I will see you all later. Bye.